This pitch is launched into orbit here in Houston, and it's just shy of the train tracks. A soaring home run for Michael A. Taylor. He's homered for the second straight game here in Houston, and the Pirates leading the Astros 5-1. Pirates a strike away with 2 on and 2 out, a 2-2 pitch. Backed up the slider, right on the inner edge. Strike 3 call, and Altuve caught looking with 2 on, and Hunter Stratton perseveres. He ends the ball game, and the Bucks have won 3 in a row.
We were able to address several goals that we had coming into the deadline. Most importantly was to improve our 2024 team, to recognize and honor the incredible hard work and toughness that our player group, our staff is showing, and the effort they're putting in every day. And we want to support that and give this team in 2024 every chance to keep playing good baseball, keep winning.
Well, at least Ben Cherington's excited.
Yeah, you could hear it.
You could hear it in his voice. An effervescent, a jacked up Ben Cherington who did help the 2024 club over the course of the last 2 days. Gets a much-needed left-handed reliever who was the setup man in Colorado. Goes out and gets the most super of super utility men from the Tampa Bay Rays and gets a bopper. A man with 18 home runs in Brian De La Cruz. And I think it's inarguable that this version of the Pittsburgh Pirates that we'll see tonight is better than the one we saw yesterday. And for all the hand-wringing, all the criticism, myself absolutely included in this, of Ben Cherington, he did a good job, I think, over the course of the last few days. How do you feel today, Pirates fans? 412-928-9370. Dorin, how do you feel today?
I feel pretty good, and I purposely didn't tweet throughout the whole process of yesterday because I wanted to wait up until the last minute. And there's a lot of people, obviously, tweeting things and saying that the Pirates aren't going to make moves and people making moves around them. I get it. And, I was getting antsy as well. But Ben Cherington did say that, he was waiting for the right move. And so did Shelton. We're waiting for the right move, for the right component to our team. And I do think that for what was out there and what they had to give up financially, I think all of this made sense. They needed these two positions, especially Kiner Falefa at second base for now, and then he can move around and just be if you can get a guy like that and the production never drops off, it is probably one of the most secretly hidden gems that you could have. I think even on any sports team, if you could have a guy that could play multiple positions, but the production doesn't drop,
yes,
it is such a weapon. And you've seen that with guys like Triolo. You've seen that with guys like even Josh Harrison at times, and guys like even Connor Joe. But this guy is one of the best of doing that, being a utility player. So now, like whenever Nick Gonzalez comes back, and I don't want to get too long-winded here, when Nick Gonzalez does come back, he can move and play other positions,
yes,
and you feel pretty good about it. And obviously, De La Cruz, I was a big fan of him initially, and I thought that they were going to pair him with Jazz Chisholm, and maybe that was on the table. I know that, and we know that the Pirates were in on Jazz Chisholm, and obviously Jazz Chisholm, he has had
turned into Mickey freaking Mantle.
8 home runs in 2 games. But I'm very, very satisfied. Very satisfied. You filled positions of need, and it's not world beaters, but it's going to help this ball club.
I think that's really well said. I don't want to sit here and say that Ben Cherington was flawless, that he totally hit it out of the park. But he made the team better. He did not give up any significant futures. And this is a baseball team that needed to be legitimized. They got by for a long while on pitching. Obviously, the starting rotation, the bullpens come together. But then on guts and guile, and on mixing and matching, and on recently really good managerial decisions by Derek Shelton. But this is a baseball team that's guts, man. That's got balls, stones, that finds a way to win a bunch of one-score games, that grinds through at-bats, that doesn't ever wave the white flag. And that can only take you so far. It can only take you so far. I don't think this team, as previously constructed, was going to make the postseason. I'm not sure this one makes the postseason, but I feel like it's legitimized. When you consider what this Pirates lineup can be in a couple of days, because apparently Isaiah Kiner-Falefa is on IL, probably going to come back Friday, something like that. So in a couple of days, your lineup can look like this. Andrew McCutchen lead digs off. Brian Reynolds, O'Neal Cruz, De La Cruz, Rowdy Tellez, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, and then
Joey
Bart. And then the bottom of your lineup, Michael A. Taylor all of a sudden coming on like gangbusters. I don't mind him in center field every day because he plays elite defense when you've added two more professional hitters. And then, okay, at the tail end of your lineup, you're looking at Ke'Bryan Hayes. But when you lengthen that lineup, you feel better about players like Hayes, who's glove first, and like Taylor, who's glove first. You don't feel like they're luxuries anymore. You just feel like they fit, especially if Michael A. Taylor's going to hit the way he has the last couple of days or be a reasonable facsimile of what he was last year. That is a lineup that isn't a top 15, top 20 lineup probably in all of Major League Baseball, but can it get you 4 runs more often than not? Because if it does, the Pirates' record when they've scored 4 or more runs is like 30 games over 500. We didn't need this team to be totally transformed. We just needed the lineup to be lengthened, and the lineup has been lengthened. And I don't think that De La Cruz is a great player. I know that Isaiah Kiner-Falefa is not a great player, but they're both good players.
Yeah.
And they're significant upgrades for this team.
Yeah.
And consider then when you do get Nick Gonzalez back, to your point, Dorin, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, he could play everywhere.
Yeah.
He could play outfield.
Yep.
He could play infield. He came up into the big leagues as a catcher, not saying you would use him there, but you understand the versatility. The question is, can they make the playoffs now? 412-928-9370. And what grade do we give Ben Cherington at 412-928-9370 for the moves that he made?
Well, I'll answer the second part first. I give him a B+. You filled positions of need. You didn't give up crazy amount of either prospects or even take on money. You offsetted some of the money that you were actually going to spend on players. So I give him a B+ for that. And can they make the playoffs? Sure. Why not? Why not? I mean, whenever I watched the game last night, I fell asleep towards the end, but Bailey Falter hasn't pitched in a month. And he comes back, and he does pretty good. And that's your 4th guy?
Mm-hmm. Maybe 5th.
Maybe 5th? No, yeah, that's your 5th.
With the way Ortiz is pitched, he's probably your 5th.
Why not?
Yep.
Why not?
And it's not just, for the longest time, it was the rotation. And it's still the rotation. The bullpen's great. It's just a great bullpen. I'm there now. I thought that it would be a strength coming into the season. That's like the one thing I got right because I was not feeling good about Bailey Falter.
Right.
I thought they'd score runs coming in. Guys like Wainer, guys like Watt, guys like Neil Walker thought they might have 5 guys who could hit 20-plus home runs. We all sort of thought this would be a good offense, or at least an above-average offense. It hasn't been. But I think the conventional wisdom told us this bullpen with Chapman, with Bednar, with Holderman, with Majinski, we thought Barecki would be part of it. We thought it could be a great bullpen. What a shrewd move to get Dennis Santana in here, who has been lights out. He's got 20-plus strikeouts in 13 innings this month. Hadn't given up a run. 2 strikeouts, an inning and 2/3 yesterday when they needed length. Kyle Nicholas has been good. Hunter Stratton comes in and gets 2 strikeouts in the 9th inning. And then you add a lefty from Colorado who was their setup man. I don't think that's a great role for him, but you look at his numbers against lefties. Point being, this is a pitching staff, not just a rotation, a pitching staff that is good. And if the lineup can just be serviceable, frick yeah, they can make the playoffs. They're 2 games out and the lineup's been junk all year.
I have reverted back and collected all my thoughts of the baseball heads that we have on our show and the former players. And Neil Walker, John Wainer, Jordy Mercer, and maybe missing one in there, but I'm pretty sure that that's all three. And they've had a consensus of questions that I've remembered asking them, and asking in different ways, but asking the same question. How do you win in Major League Baseball? How do you become consistent in Major League Baseball? And how do you make the playoffs in Major League Baseball? Because, Jordy and Neil have experienced that. They said one thing, all of them, pitching. Like, if you have good pitching, you will always have a chance.
Yes.
It's like the NFL. If you have a pretty good quarterback, you will always have a chance. If you have good pitching, you will have a chance regardless. What do the Pirates have?
Great pitching.
So that just sits here and tells me, I sit here and I think about it, like, can they make the playoffs? Yeah, why not? That's what they have. And now that you've added to the lineup, you got a little bit more legitimized, a little bit more. I mean, you didn't need, like you said, to be much more legitimized. Heck yeah. I'm with it. I mean, look at the streaks that they've gone on. Look at the streaks that they've almost eliminated, like the losing streaks. As we talked in the beginning of the season, in order for them to get in the playoffs, in order for them to be legit, they had to eliminate those 9 games, those 8 games, those long losing streaks. Have they had any of those this year?
Dorin, they haven't lost 3 games in a row in months.
Right.
In months. I was just going to bring that up sort of to put an exclamation point on your point. The last time that your battling Buccos lost 3 consecutive games, oh, no, does this not line up perfectly, was May 7th through the 10th. You know what happened on May 11th?
Yes, I do.
Nick Gonzalez and that guy named Paul Skeens came up. So since this team really took shape with the best pitcher in baseball, they have not lost 3 consecutive games. Because even though they have been one of the worst teams by OPS, by runs scored in all of Major League Baseball, you're always as good as your next day's starting pitcher. The oldest adage in the book for Major League Baseball. Paul Skeens is a stopper. Mitch Keller is a stopper. Jared Jones, going to give you a chance. Bailey Falter, going to give you a chance. Luis Ortiz has given you more than a chance. Marco Gonzalez has been very good for them. Every day, you feel like you're at least in the ball game because of this pitching staff. And now, I think you have a lineup that can get you to a place where you can score 4 runs with more regularity. Of course they have a chance. And they hadn't won 3 games in a row for a long time. Well, now they're on a 3-game winning streak. And they have gone now 15 and 18 in July. 13 and 5 since July 8th. This baseball team is hot, and now this baseball team has been legitimized.